Sir Wesley Hall joins us under the mahogany tree to talk horses. So don't miss it.
Coming up shortly is Sir Wes, but right now, Raquel.
Raquel. Good
Okay,
night.
Welcome to the show.
Before we bring her, Raquel, Sean,
Yes.
go get the man ready.
Yes.
Man.
So put me behind,
yourself,
guys. Put
Excuse
me
yourself
behind.
from here, and we can entertain this day with Raquel, and you go take care of the big guy and bring him down first, buddy.
Excellent. Way to go,
Raquel.
Hi.
Say.
How are you? How's everyone?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
How was your
last
weekend?
race day?
I guess it was good. I was on vacation-ish. I only got to see the last 3 races, and they were exciting.
Okay. You sent us some information about the latest stats at the Barbados Turf Club.
Yes, I know that some people are very curious as to how the year ended, so I just wanted to run through the top 3.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with my, once again, I'm going to do my housekeeping. This information is directly from the Barbados Turf Club race book. Put that out there. So, you know, don't come for me if anything is wrong. All right, so like I said, I'm going to do the top 3. And we have the horse standings. Hurricane with 4 wins, 1 second out of 5 starts. And his earnings are $145,688. Second, we have Nilos, the old man in the game, but still doing great things. He's had 2 wins, 2 seconds, a third and a fourth out of 6 starts, with $67,575 in earnings. Third was Mikhail with 1 win, 1 second, 3 fourths out of 7 starts, with earnings of $40,120. So congrats to you guys. We're going to move on to the jockey standings. We have Tashawn Hazelwood being on the leaderboard with 14 wins, 10 seconds, 5 thirds out of 71 starts. So that's really good for him. Like I said, it is subject to change, and these are the most recent information I have. Yes. So second would be Rashid Hughes with 13 wins, 15 seconds, 16 thirds out of 89 starts. And Ray Williams, 13 wins, 3 seconds, 10 thirds, and out of 66 starts.
So Raquel, tell me, with the no races happening in Barbados for the next 5 or 6 weeks, do you think those standings are going to change come December 31st? Do you see any big movements happening?
Well, I believe they have already, like I said, it's not been updated as of race day gone, but I do believe that it has already changed, and it will continue to change. I'm certain of it.
Do you see any people that are laying in second or third, maybe coming into?
Well, we've got Eric Daniel, who's been having a great time this season, actually this year. So, you know, who knows? He could be creeping up there and he maybe claim the #1 spot. Who knows? You can't tell how it goes. You just play it by ear. And as Leroy and I say, we let the horses speak for themselves, because without the horses, you're not going to get there.
Leroy, you've been paying her $100 to say
no,
that?
No,
Come on,
no.
Raquel. You got a strong
something from that was
Leroy.
ingrained in me for a long time. So it just so happens we twin in on that.
Very good, very good.
Thank you. Another great job you've done.
Sorry, you were saying something?
No, on another note. So it's another great job you've done with doing your research and informing our guests and everything, our audience on what's going on. From a horse person to another horse person, how did your horses come out of the Derby, everybody came out of it well.
Yes, and happy and enjoying their mini vacation.
There you go. There you go. It's
That's-
very
that's what
important
you
that we speak about the horses, you know what I mean? Because they're the one who goes out there and do all the hard work. We
That's
just
correct.
get the entertainment from them, you know what I
Correct.
mean? And it's always good to know. Me as an agent, I always like to go back to the barn the next day, or even if a horse had to work, to see how the horse came out of his work, how he came out of his race. You know, those things are important because, you know, 90% horse, I say 10%, you know, who are all the other people. So it's always about the horse for me. I take pride in finding out how those horses, you know, come out of their races. You know, it's so important. So, you know,
And
I see
I've
a wonderful.
always come up hearing that horses make jockeys. So
There you go. Well, make all of us. We just have to pay attention to detail and make sure that those horses are happy going into their races and coming out of their races.
That's
so it's
correct.
so important. You know what I mean? The last thing we want to know is, oh, a horse has to go to the hospital, or he has to go, you know, he didn't come out of his race well and stuff like that, you know.
It's so true.
And you guys have got the great facility of the ocean down there that, you know, is so great for horses, and they enjoy it.
Definitely.
Does Hurricane go swimming?
Yes, he does.
He does.
He enjoys it. Yes.
So
Maybe you could get us a video one day.
Maybe.
To see the Triple Crown winner going for a swim. Isn't that sound great, Leroy? The Triple Crown winner
We
going
might
for a
create
swim.
a cyclone or something. A tidal wave, you know.
We almost did the other day at the track, so you know, running that doing those wonderful things. You know what I mean? So again, that was good to hear. So all the horses came out of their race as well, and having their little R&R time, getting ready to get ready again to do all. So when did the new season starts, guys?
I think it's November 2nd or so.
Yeah. I think
Not
so.
till November 2nd.
Yeah.
We had one of our comments, somebody saying when all the big jocks come back home, they might change up the standings a little bit.
There you go.
You never know.
Right, so
Leroy, I'm getting jealous.
Why?
The only time we hear our boy Azarian is when he's coming on to say hi to Auntie Rack.
Oh,
Hi. Yes, that is me.
Oh, so all the time before he used to come on a little earlier and stuff like that. So now he's only coming on when he's a ladies' man. I think that's what's going on.
I think you got him right there.
There's nothing wrong with that, though. There's nothing wrong at all with that. Hey, that's all
but
right.
Leroy, look at this. We got some other people saying some great things. Look, from Marianne, great show, well done. Your sponsors are proud.
Thank you.
Shout out to the team at mpequine.com, McKee Pownell Equine Services and Veterinary Care.
Thank you.
John Connors, you guys are killing it. Great job.
So,
and
go ahead, right?
And Haley, great show. Everyone's shouting us out, Leroy. I told you this is one of the best.
Well, again, I'm not gonna say one of the best. I'm gonna say our shows are great. You know, I'm not gonna use this one thing.
And people like different.
Yeah.
I'm
not gonna use that word one. That one word one. So yeah. Anyhow, but Haley, we had our Queen's Plate run up here. Did you get to see our Queen's Plate run at Woodbine?
Haley? You mean me?
Not Haley. Merkel. Sorry. My apologies.
No, I
You didn't get to see that. Okay.
No.
So you didn't get to see none of our Triple Crown races.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So you see, I'm down up here following Barbados races. You're giving me a lot of information on Barbados races. You're gonna have to pick up your computer and find Canadian races and see.
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay. And
You're
yesterday we had our Prince of Wales race
at Fort Erie, huh?
Yeah, our last leg of the Prince of Wales, of the Queen's Triple Crown.
No, that's the second.
Not the
leg.
last leg. Sorry, the second leg. My apologies.
Leg.
Sorry. I need a smack here.
Barbadian got to correct you, Leroy.
Sorry, my apologies. My apologies. Yeah. So yesterday was our second leg of our Triple Crown, and our Triple Crown is run on 3 different surfaces.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of the only ones that's run on 3 different surfaces. So you need to get some information and get informative on our racing up here too. Okay.
Well, that's fine. That's sure. That's definitely on the books for me.
So when you come on here, you can, interact with us and talking about the racing and stuff that's going on up here too. Don't let Brent and Sean do it all. I want to get you a little informative of what's going on too. All right. You're part of us now. So
thank you.
You know what I mean? So it's fun to see, and hearing, the things that you're doing and giving the information that you're giving and doing your homework and stuff like that.
Look at that, Leroy. Azarian, happy belated
Thank
birthday,
you.
That's
Auntie
right.
Rack.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, how did you spend that birthday?
Oh, it was fantastic.
It was
Surrounded
fantastic.
by good friends and family.
There you go.
Loved it.
There you go. There you
And
go.
look at what
Yeah.
John Mark Cozier saying. The kid Azarian was in his yard this afternoon. He too loves the horses and pays more attention to them than school.
Our man is in the back there begging to come inside. He's knocking on the door, Brian.
Who's that? Sean Hall.
No, Tyler too. I hear Tyler was there saying,
We
"Bring
got
me in."
Tyler.
There he is.
Hey.
What's going on, bro?
Chris
Chris,
Gripper.
Hey,
Wake up,
White.
Chris.
No, wait, no. What's up? What's up?
Got a full field tonight.
Yes.
Where's the great Sir West?
That's what we're waiting on.
Well, I have to leave this to Sean.
Okay.
Well,
Can you put me backstage there for a minute, for a couple minutes, please?
Sure.
yes. Well, folks, everything is in place for my dad, Sir Wesley Hall, to say a few words on his journey. This is not really his journey as such, but about the horse racing aspect of his life. Because being around horses all around the world, it got me involved in it at a very young age. So, as you ready, Sir Wes?
Welcome, Sir Wes.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
I should bow. Good night. Good night.
You all look so young. I think you're my grandchildren.
Well, Sir Wes, Raquel.
I don't think
at the
none of
top,
them that
Raquel
young here.
Stout, myself, Brett Callahan, Tyler Gaskin, coming from Toronto as well, Chris Griffer from Fort Erie,
Represent. Or
and your greatest son, or one of your greatest sons.
And pleased to meet you. I think I know everyone, but
Yeah.
haven't seen you for some time. So
yes, I haven't seen you
happy
for a
to
while.
meet
Been a
you.
while.
That's good. Well, I'm very happy that Sean told me about it, and I thought he was making a joke. And I've never really been in such exalted company when it comes to racing. I would probably just go there and back a few horses. But this has been a fantastic season for you guys. You've done very well. If I had to mark you, I think that I'd have to say that you were in the 90s every time. So that's fantastic. I'd just like to congratulate you.
That's nice to hear.
Thank you.
Wow. So we got room for improvement.
Everybody has.
We should wish you a happy birthday, right, Sir Wes?
Oh, yes.
Oh yes, sir. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, I wasn't sure about it. I'm now, I'm now 65, 75. I feel like 65.
You're 85, darling.
Well,
Don't you 10 years.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm 85, and yesterday when my daughter took me to lunch, and I was just sitting down, and the next thing I saw, was that people were being interviewed, and I was very surprised because I want to tell you something. The last ball I bowled in any match was 52 years ago, so I didn't think there was anybody alive who saw me bowling. But it was fantastic when these people came up and were so nice to me, and I really believe, I really love it. So I'd like to say the same to you. I've watched the show for as long as you've been doing, and I'm telling you, it's a fantastic show.
Thank you.
Definitely getting a lot of good reviews up here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Griff, you get your hat yet? I check the mailbox every day, but I ain't seen nothing yet. Tyler, you get yours? I gotta use the 100 that Daniel is out to get me. Maybe I can buy it. Well, yeah, at least you get more than me. You got 100.
Oh dear.
Leroy turning the hat around.
Yeah, he turning around. Yeah,
I'm gonna pivot here a little bit, Mr. Hall. You got three gentlemen to that's your left, right? a picture
Yeah.
of three great men to your left there. Could you tell us a little bit about those three great men you have to your left?
Oh, they're not three. They're only two, actually. Collie Smith, the great West Indian cricketer who died at a very early age in an accident in London, in England, and a great player, Collie Smith. The next one in the middle, that's me when I was 25, and the other one was when I was 70. So it was painted by a chap in Jamaica. I went to Jamaica to speak, and the school that he had been to, and they decided they'd give me a gift, and that is what they gave me. I'm very good, pretty good about that, because Collie was one of the best cricketers that we have had in the West Indies. He just didn't live very long, but he did a lot while he lived.
So what he did? He was a batsman, a bowler.
He was a batsman and off spin bowler. And I felt that if he had not died, Sir Frank Worrell would not have come out of, he actually went to the university, and I think he was going to have a career in the university. If Collie, if he had not died, well, I'm sure Frank would not have come back to captain the West Indies, and because I believe that Collie would have been the next captain. That's big praise for that.
Wow.
He was only about, I reckon, around 23 or 24, and he was a fantastic cricketer and a great man too. And I thought that he had he had all the qualifications to captain the West Indies side.
Wow. See, those are things that we wouldn't know in our age group. We only hear about these things, and that's why I wanted to question about the pictures you have there, and that's good to hear.
And the other picture is my brother died, John, in the middle.
Oh, okay.
So they keep John close by also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are three great men there then.
Yeah. John was a great boy. He wasn't a cricketer, but he played rugby, born in Canada, so he played those games, and he was a great swimmer and things like that. But he died right here in Barbados. He came in and went to the sea, and it was all over. So we still love him and still remember him, Fantastic guy.
Yes, great.
Have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so, go ahead, Sean.
Well, I was just about to start out to talk about that. How it started for you being involved and loving horses, because I didn't get this just from, it had to come from you, the horse loving side of my life. Tell us how it started for you.
Well, I must say this. I love horses. I love dogs too, but I love horses. And when I was very young, my brother and I, we used to live at her grandmother, but she's very strict. And, she didn't like us to go to cricket. I would put the clock forward so I can get to school an hour earlier. And what I didn't remember is that somebody would have to come and put it back in the evening. So, when we came out and then decided to go and play cricket again, she would come for us, and you would get blows in front of everybody. It's very humiliating. I didn't like that at all. So I told my mother, look, we are coming to live with you in St. Lawrence. That is Christchurch. And guess what? Jack, they had it next to my mother. My mother kept a shop, and next to the shop was two jockeys, and me and my brother, we decided that we would be looking at
Fletcher.
Yeah, Fletcher. And I tell you what, we then had to. My mother would let us come to school there, but we had, instead of going only 30 yards to our school, that was St. Giles, we now had to go from St. Lawrence to St. Giles. So we had to walk to Worthing View, And we would, when we got off that bus, there was a stable, the Bone Stable, and had some fantastic horses, the two greatest horses that I saw in Barbados. And I thought that that was the biggest thing for my brother and I. So we would go catch the bus then, and we'd go to get into school, but it only took us halfway. We had to get off by the garrison, so we were looking now at the gallops. So my brother and I, you know, we were weaned at a very early age, and we were going to school. While going to school, we were going to see the horses, those in the stables and those that are galloping. So that was it. And I saw my first race. I would think it was only about 6 or 7, and there were 3 big horses. In those days, they were very big horses, and I believe that it was, you know, when we got to see that, we would go to races well, I can't say every Saturday, because you know how it was in those days. You would get racing seasons. You get one around March, you get another one in the summer, and then you get one just before Christmas. So we would go to all the races, and I just believe, you know, I just love racing. Even when I started to play for the West Indies, all of the fellas like racing. So Gary Sobers, Cammy Smith, Seymour Nurse, all of them, we would go, and you know, we've had some great fun. The captain did not like us gambling. He didn't like us betting our horses, because for the simple reason that we didn't get a lot of money in those days. You know, we get £5 for a week, so there wasn't much left. So we felt that if we could, you know, back a few horses, we would be, you know, doing very well, because we'd be able to have a good time and still play good cricket. So that's how it started. Most of the fellas were, you know, lovers of racing, and we got some great friends. And Lester Pickett was a very good friend of Sir Gary Sober, and Jeff Lewis was my friend, and we were playing a game in Sussex one time, and they were beating us. They gave us, they only have 8 runs to win, and that morning Gary called Lester Piggott, and he got 2 in it, but he got two tips. I called Jeff Lewis, and I got 2, so we had 4. And then we didn't do too well that day in the game. They only gave them 8 runs to go, at. So Gary, as he was walking up, he said, "Wes, you think that we could get the taxi to go to the races very soon?" I said, "Oh yes." So Charlie said, "Yeah, what that you all said? You don't know we could win this match?" I said, "Only 8 runs?" He said, "Yes, we could win." So I said, "Well, I decided I'd be bowling a maiden over." So bowled 6 balls, no runs. Then in the second over, Charlie hit a man in his head and then bowled down another fella. So I said, "Well, the next over, I did the same thing, another maiden. The next over again, Charlie hit a fella in his toes, and everything is in trouble. He's gone off to the hospital." And then he bowled down another fella. So that's 4 men, 2 out and 2, you know, hurt. And the third one, I did the same thing again and bowled another maiden. And Charlie came back now in the third match, and he hit the fella, a serious blow there, and he's off the hospital. Then he bowled another fella. So 6, you know, we have a situation where we have 6 men sort of out, 3 out and 3 hurt. So I then decide, well, skipper, you know, get me 3 slips, 2 gullies, you know, third man and things like that, if you could make this match. And I came in and bowled 1 very fast ball. The fella did some of that, and you know, he missed. It hit the top of his glove and went to the boundary. And Charlie said that we were selling out the race. They were selling out the whole thing, and we barely ended one. Then a guy said, the one that went to hospital said, well, when we saw him, you know, 3 days after, he said, well, you know, Charlie's getting very slow, because, you know, last time, 3 years ago in 1963, I was in hospital for 2 weeks. This time I was in there only for 2 days, so he's slow. we really love horses. We love, you know, doing a lot of racing, and it's something that we did in Australia, in England, in India, wherever we went. We would like to go to the races. Although the captain didn't particularly like it, but you know, I took Sean with me to. Well, he went everywhere. He went to Australia. Sean and Ricky. Ricky was supposed to go to Australia, but he did so well, he couldn't make it. Sean went to Australia. He went to India. You know, he rode up there. And I was very happy to see him winning races there. So, you know, cricket was good, but racing was also very good. And I can say this, that when I became a Christian, I wasn't too sure. You know, I was sure that I could stop doing everything that perhaps could be called wrong, but I wasn't sure whether I could, you know, not have a bet at the girls at any racetrack. And then I went to Canada, and Sean had just come back from down south, and he had this horse, and he said to me, you know, Daddy, I think this horse is going to win this race, you know, because he was running on dirt all the time, and now he was running on grass. He sacks the horse, you know, like said the millionaire. He says, and I think that I'll win it. The horse was 50-1. I did not put a penny on it, and I therefore knew then that I could go anywhere, to races, to anywhere, and not gamble. So that's when I know. So I thank Sean for that. You know, 50-1. I think that's something that you will want to have every day. You know, but that is it. So everything was, you know, going pretty good.
So you've been around a lot of horses in your time. Name some of the great horses that you can speak about or you can remember that we might not even know about.
Well, I was asking Sean. I said, Sean, they're going to ask me about who the best horses are. And I said, you know, my two best horses, but I can't remember the names all the time. And
you want help? I remember now.
Yeah, tell me.
You like Blue Sails and Menton.
I like Menton and Blue Sails. Now, Menton was a very great horse. He could come from behind. He could go on the lead. The other one was a different horse, but it was an easier ride. You know, you could probably put him on the bridle, and he would do the rest for you. But these two horses were fantastic. We had, you know, I can tell you what, for me, I like the Edward stable. And I was only 11 years old when I went to the Garrison, and my brother was 12, and another guy. So then I met another cricketer called George Rock. He was about 2 years old, and we had a bet. The first time I ever had a bet, and it was a horse called. It was the Rasper and the Blue, and I can't even remember the second horse, but we had this bet, and it won. And then the fellow saw me with all this money. He said, you know, at 11, you could get locked up for gambling. So I decided, well, if that's the case, well, I'll be back there all the time. So what happened, I found that, you know, I like jockeys. I like to see jockeys. And my friends were like Charlie Jones, and I came from the same part of Barbados in Christchurch. And I like Charlie. He was fantastic, especially coming out of the gates. Right now, you have boxes, but then you have to go, and it was a tape like that flew in the air, and you had to be very good to do that. I would say Venice Richards. Sean know that. I've got some pictures of Sean Venice lifting Sean up when he was only about 6 months old, going on a plane.
It was a long time ago, Sir Wes.
Eh?
When Sean was 6 months, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, oh, long time. Very long.
Not only that, Tyler, not only the 6 months, it's a long time since anybody could pick up Sean. He get heavy now.
I'll tell you something. When Sean started to ride, I'll tell you, you won't believe it, but he was only 70 pounds. So, you know.
He was
I
4?
think, yeah, what I was saying, I remember him going to school, and at the end of the term, he was about, I think he won a few races at around 95, and Ricky and Sean went in this 8-week summer, every day in the sea, surfing. Now Sean can swim, but he's surfing. I don't understand that. Ricky, you know, they're drinking. I have a man called Cuts, and they're drinking these soft drinks. And when the season came, Sean was already 118 pounds. So that's when it started. You know, getting big. And all he was doing is surfing, the sea water, and things like that, and then drinking these soft drinks. And within 4 months, he put on about 20 or maybe 20 pounds. I remember that. Then
Sean,
his life was one of sweating. Yeah. You know, one day he had three good horses for the Seal. And Sean, he said, Daddy, I'm going to go, Ricky and I going to sweat. And there were no boxes really. So they would then get in the car, have 3 or 4 plastic clothing, and go down to St. Philip or something like that. And when he came back, I saw him lying down on the ground. I said, what's happening? He says, Daddy, call Mr. Seal. Tell him that I can get the weight on all 3 horses, but I can't get my foot over the horse. Young, that guy, the guy who rode them, you won all 3 of them, and I think he's in Canada. Tyrone. Yeah. So it shows you the game, and you know it can be cruel sometimes, but that was pretty good.
So Sean, you made the weight, but you can make the right horses.
No.
Yes, sir.
Chris, you have anything to say about that, Chris?
Some horses, but I think that J.D. Chandler in Barbados had some of the most beautiful horses. That barn was very, very, very strong. Charlie used to ride there. Then you have Eric Holder. He was a champion jockey, and he was a fantastic rider. But you know, you had Dennis Richards, and you had a lot of people, a lot of jockeys came from England. You had, first of all, you had for the channel, there was a man called Edgar. Sean, what's his name? They have the Turtle. You had Turtle. He came and he was a trainer too, and Frank O'Neill. Frank O'Neill was one of the best riders that we've seen in the West Indies, and he won a few derbies. But yes, I would think that the contingent in I don't even remember the channels. They were fantastic. So I remember the first race that Charlie Jones won on a horse called Gold Lightning. I remember when I can't remember his name. He was a jockey that was very very good with his hands, and horses liked him, but he didn't look too pretty. Johnny Bell. He didn't look pretty at all, but he'd be sitting upright and doing like that, and the pretty riders come alongside him, and my boy would kick on and win. And he rode a horse called, he had his first ride with a gray horse called Lingo. So I think that, you know, racing in Barbados at that time was pretty good. You had a lot of English riders, and the day that the guys went to Canada was really, you know, a fantastic situation for racing, because as you know, I don't have to tell you, you've had some of the best riders from Barbados going up to Canada, and now, as you know, you have it now in America. So it's pretty good. But I have loved racing for a long time, and I had in the middle of the stretch, I found that I rented the last, I think all the fellas used to come into that booth, and I used to be there because Sean fell off a horse once, right in front of me. And when I went to him, I said, Sean, come, you have to go home. He said, Daddy, you joking? I got 2 winners in the next 2 races coming, so try and go to the way. So I couldn't understand that at all, because it looked to me like the fall was pretty hard. And that's another thing. The only other thing I'll stop after this is that he fell in a gray horse. I don't remember her name. Right around the corner. And
who was it, Sean?
Cherry Chips.
In front. You know, and then I ran up there to him. I was real frightened because there were 12 horses in the race, and I said to him when I got him home, I said, Sean, what do you really have to do when you fall down in front of 12 horses? He said, well, Daddy, when you fall and you're in front, he said, well, what you do is you come from 1, and if you get to 10, you're alive. 10 horses going over you. I said, well, you have to have that sort of mentality to really ride horses, you know, that if you fall, well, that's hard luck, but you want to get back on the horse as soon as possible. So that was something that I couldn't believe would happen, you know. Another thing too with Sean, his mother didn't particularly like him riding at all, and she used to go down to the races, and she would go down, Shawnee, and Sean looked back one day, the horse throwing down, and he came home and said to me, Daddy, my mother, she comes down there again, I am not saying hello to her. So she came down, Shawnee, then Sean went to win the race, and she tell me, Baze, I think that since that boy is living at your house, he's on Manly's ever. That's the sort of things that happen to a father who has a jockey. And I think that the best man going around that bend was Godfrey. I've never seen anybody go around, any jockey go around that bend as balanced and as good as Godfrey. And, you know, I think that racing itself has been very good in terms of when you recognize that you only, I don't know, you probably get only 20 days in a year. And you know, when I was in England or Australia or any other place, you get racing every day. So, you know, I appreciated then, you know, when you get back home, how it's a little harder for a jockey, harder for a groom, harder for an owner, and certainly harder for the trainer. So I'll pause there, and if there's anything else, well, I'll deal about it.
Why don't you talk about the horses that you all brought from England?
Oh, yeah. Well, we were backing some horses in England, and Peter Ashley was a student of racing, and we bought a horse called Curfew. Sandy Barclay, he rode it in. I would say that we didn't back it. We back it, but we didn't have a lot of money to back it. But because it was the West Indies cricket team horse, it came in from 12 to 1 to 3 to 1. and Barclay won it by 3 lengths. And we then sent it straight to Barbados. And poor soul, I think she had in England, I don't know if you know this, but there are a lot of girls who are, you know, who work in England in the stables and things like that. And they're supposed to be very loving and things like that. Like my granddaughter, for instance, I'm sure that Sean would have told you that she is a pretty good, good with horses. And, you know, because this horse was so, from the time she was a yearling, she was with girls. When she came to Barbados, we didn't have any girls as grooms. And whenever a guy come in the stall, she would, you know, do things, and she hurt herself, and she didn't ride it. She didn't run at all in Barbados. We bred her, and you know, but we had a fairly good time. Then Gary and I had a horse called what's that name, John?
Cruise Missile.
Right?
Missile.
Cruise Missile. Cruise Missile was a really good horse, and when one morning they were taking him down to the sea, and a truck thought it was a good idea to hit him, and we were going to put him down. When Sean was in Canada, he said, I said, Sean, I think we'll put down this horse. He said, no, Daddy, don't put him down, because just wait till I come back home. Just keep him, and let's see what we can do with him. And when Sean came back, and he told me, well, this horse will never go 9 again, Daddy. It wouldn't go 5. So what we could do, the Garrison track, as you know, is just a, if you're in trouble, you know, with the right lead, you'll be in trouble all the time. So Sean, he trained him, and you know, he won about $100,000, and all he was doing is five furlongs, and we love him, and we have a very big picture of Sean riding him in our home here, because he was a fantastic horse. But you know, those are things that we in the West Indies team love. We just love to do horses. And then the only other story I know is that our captain didn't particularly like racing, as I told you. And in 1966, when we won the World Championship, he said, I don't like you guys betting on horses. So what we decided to do, we'd have, you know, everybody would put in a pound, and there were about 20 horses in the race, and we decided that we would do that. And Sobers, he got the picket horse. He thought he would win it. And the captain said, well, you know, I'm not approved, so I'll put in. And he won at 66 to 1. Then he had the gall to get up and say, I told you all not to gamble on horses. I have won, but I'm not going to buy a drink for you. So, but all fellas love horses. I personally, I like speed. I like fast bowling.
Well, Sir Wes, one of our listeners asked if Cruise Missile was named after your bowling pace.
No, it was named after a very great horse in Australia called
Okay.
Yeah, but no, it was just one of those things.
I have a question for you, Sir Wes. So the times when Sean rode Cruise Missile bad and get it beat, were you used to tell him that?
That's not true, boy. I don't think Sean had any defeats on Cruise Missile. I could tell you who had it, but it wouldn't embarrass them. Sean,
I'm just checking. I know or anything.
Well, the truth is this, that Sean was riding at the time when he rode the Seal Horse, Sean.
Concord here.
Sean won 5 races on that.
Leroy, you mean when he abused Benton?
No, that's a different horse.
That was Concord Hero. Was Concord Heroes right in?
I'm talking about Concord Hero.
Okay, okay. You know, we just have to mention that he put a little abuse on a horse there, but we had to speak about Mr. Hall. That's all. You know, we just had to put that in there.
No, but
impressive, you know.
I think that what he felt that the first thing that you should do is to try to win. so you know, and if you have to, you know, give him 3 or 4 lashes, well, I think that Sean did not really give the horse a lot of lashes. I think he hit the horse too hard. A few, 1 or 2 wheels.
Chris might have something different to say about that, though, Mr. Hall.
No, you gotta ask Mr. Seals about that. I'm not the one that fired him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Y'all laughing, but it was that sweet talking Neil Bruce that he's in there, boy. I tell you.
Well, you know, I mean, what they should have had in those days then are the whips that they have now.
Yeah.
Well,
and then
if he had the whip that he had now in Tom, I'd never pick up the bit.
Mr. Hall, you're speaking like a true father taking it for his son.
Yeah.
No, I was there. I mean, I was there throughout. I mean, I went to everywhere. Well, I had 2 sons actually, Sean and Ricky, and they went everywhere. Took them to Jamaica. The only thing that I didn't like about that trip is that when you told them were racing, it means you had to look for nearly 50 pounds to put these saddles. They were only weighing, I think Sean was 78, and I think Ricky, like, he was 60.
Well, that was very early then in their
career. Very, very early. Okay. In 1981. These fellas started early, you know. I mean, they started pretty early, and you know, when you're 16, not 16, Sean there, Ricky went at 15, Sean at 14. And you know, the only thing about Sean is that when he won 2 races, and at Combermere, you know, he didn't play cricket, but he stopped playing cricket and went racing. He got about 60 something in a cricket game. And when the master came for him the next Saturday, I said, I think you better go up at the garrison down there. But Sean was a little shy from the point of view of, you know, he won 2 races. And the headmaster says, now Sean all won 2 races on Saturday. Where is he? Sean is nowhere there. He wasn't too keen to, you know, show off. So I think that was a good trait. So
that was a long time ago too, then.
Yeah, you're going to come here. I mean, we don't take you, you know, when you're 30. So he was pretty young, and good boy.
He still speaks that he's still a good. What was that pace he bowls at, Brett?
Slow to mid slow. I don't know.
Medium slow. Is it medium slow he bowls
medium
at?
Slow. Sean.
Yes, I'm at the age now where I spin. I'm a spinner ball.
But before you mentioned that when you had the first tournament or whatever it did that day, you say you bowled medium
tournament.
When you used to bowl military fast.
Military fast. That's what he said, Frank. That's it. Military
fast. Sorry.
But he went the next match. You went to military slow.
Military slow.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure we got it right.
But another thing, Sean and Ricky, apparently I was working at Banks Berries then, and they were all there. I would buy the first type of things where you could watch the races and things. So all the guys used to come up to the house. Right. Yeah. And then I walked up to work, and when I came back, I saw Ricky very silent and Sean very, you know, I said, Daddy, Ricky has something to tell you. I said, what he has to tell me? He says, you better ask Ricky. I go to work, and then they just take up my car and drive it on the road and bang it. When I look at it, I say, Lord have mercy, I couldn't believe it. And, you know, but they were good boys, so I didn't do anything. They hit my car, and we were all off the road for about 2 weeks. But
who was good boys?
Good.
Ricky and Sean was good boys?
The good thing about the thing about it is that Kerry was writing at the same time, and I didn't think that. I think she was a good writer, but I thought that you know, if a young girl get hurt in a fall, you know, I said, gee whiz, I wouldn't like that, you know. And I did not know I would go and buy anything, I mean, gear for Ricky and Sean, and nothing for Kerry. I didn't know that she was taking that to heart, and you know, I was in trouble for a long time. That the boys would be able to ride, but she couldn't ride. And when she said I was convinced I was could ride just as good as them. I wasn't sure about that, but you know, you'll probably find out that in Barbados we've not had a lot of lady riders, but we've had a few that have been as good as the boys, I believe. And you know, I think it was a good thing that like Sean and Ricky, those are two that I you know, like fathered, you know, make sure everything was good for them, and I'm pretty happy to do it.
So who Sean, could you tell us whose idea was to take up the car though, Sean?
A very good question.
you know, Wes, you might not have got the whole story, so we try to get it out here right now. All right.
Let me see how old we were.
Sean, tell the truth, eh, Sean?
I can tell you the truth. We were about, I think we were about 13 or 14. We weren't even close to writing. This had happened with 1979, 80 or something like that. And we used to drive the car up and down the road. You know what I mean?
So hold on, Sean. 1 minute before it crosses. So Wes, this is something that just started that day then, eh? Let's get it right, eh?
Exactly. I'm amused now.
Yeah, there you go. Come on, Sean. You can let it out now, so you don't have to get in trouble now, Sean. Bring the rest out. Go ahead.
So I was driving and reversing, and driving and reversing. Ricky was in the other seat.
Yeah.
So I was doing it so good. I said, "My Sean, man, give me peace, man." I said, "Man, all right, I give you peace."
Come on, spit it out now. Let Wes hear the truth now.
Boy, Ricky went for it good, everything was good. And when he came back, we were reversing into somebody's driveway, like a house that nobody was living at the time. And when Ricky made the turn, the front wheel hit the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And it kind of locked. And he panicked. Instead of touching the brakes, you hit the accelerator. And the only thing is someone was going in the people house with a tree. I remember when he stick off with the tree and his foot was still excel, so you know the car was like accelerating, revving.
Yeah.
And I remember people over at Barclays Sports Club, they were playing tennis. I remember everybody coming and looking to see. We knocked out the guard wall, the whole guard wall, and I was so happy that tree was there because he would have knocked out the house too.
So Wes, you just got the whole truth and nothing but the truth, Ralph.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't aware of that at all. But, you know,
now 2022, you got to find the whole truth.
I'm now getting
years.
it. Yeah, well, I think that I didn't mind. I mean, you know,
the car
was better, man.
Trump was in the back seat of the car.
Yeah.
Not the trunk anymore.
But the thing that bothered me, I thought that, you know, when I came in, that they would tell me, you know, right away. But I must have been in the house for about an hour. And Sean told me, "Daddy, Ricky want to talk to you."
No, I had a trick. No, the problem was that me and Ricky was arguing who was going to tell him.
Yeah.
So this one of the first times I tricked Ricky. I said, "All right, I can tell you." So I said, "You will come." So when we went to him, I said, Daddy, I said, Daddy, Ricky got sent to jail.
Throw the man right underneath your bus.
Ricky got sent to jail. I think back up, so I remember Ricky said, where's and the car get a little hit.
Yeah.
And my father said, where is I? He's in the back. He said, don't worry about it. I can cover the guy later. He went like no for about another 2 hours. And I remember when he eventually went out, that's when we heard the voice say,
It's amazing. I think in those days, those guys, there were a lot of boys that would come here with Biaf and everybody who was learning to ride. People who were, well, Sean and Ricky were up at Peter Odell, and some boys are up by Richard Dean's mom's place, and but these guys were really nice guys, and it was so good to see a bunch of young boys coming on and riding, and I was very happy to be there with them. What I wanted to do was to take them as far as possible that we can go at an early time, and I was a little bit worried that Ricky didn't come to Australia nor India, because you get in good rides, and you're working. I remember when Sean was in Australia, they couldn't believe that he could ride so short, because we ride a lot. You guys ride a lot shorter than the Australians, and there was a fella put Sean on a horse, and but I tell you what, I saw Sean with all this money, real money. I said, "Where you got money from?" He said, "Man, the fella tell me that he can put me on the horse, and because I'm a West Indian, they don't know me, he can get good odds." And the fellow, he went and put on the money on the horse, the owner. So apparently the winning money was $40,000. He tells Sean, "You can have the gate price, and I will take what I win." So Sean had a lot of money then coming home. So
you should have made that money and paid for the
You did what? I didn't hear you.
I think you should have take that money and make it pay for the car that they hit.
Well, yeah, well, you see, I'm sorry that Ricky didn't come, because then Ricky, if Sean is winning races, Ricky would be winning too. So
you would have got a whole car. You would have got a new car, Wes. You don't have to work with the old one no more.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was pretty good, but it was great fun with these kids, riding and going out there. A big thing when a boy is 15 years old, he can go, and ride all over the world, which is a pretty good thing. And I sort of loved it. And but then again, Sean and his brother and his sister, because Sean was there, they went up too, and they knew all of the West Indian players. I mean, Sean is a very good friend of everybody that was on that tour. So I think it's a good thing for you when you're 16 and 17 and I can remember Sean, the big boys wanted to take Sean to a nightclub. When Sean got there, the fella said, no, you're not. You look like you're 12 or 14. And the fellas then went and asked for the manager, and the manager let in Sean. But he was very young, but he was still at a nightclub. And of course, I didn't know anything about that.
Sean, is there anything else you want to share with Wes though that he didn't know about?
I think sometimes the past just stay.
You see? So when I
let the dead bury the dead.
a hard time.
Leroy, don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing.
Okay, well, see, there we go. There you go. See, now you're gonna use my turn of thing now. See.
But what I want to ask my father is that I remember when we were living in Trinidad, and I remember one time you took me to pick up Venice Richards, who had a bad fall. Venice and Winston Walton. You take Venice to the beach. You remember anything about that?
Yeah, I would go whenever anybody fell because I know it's as a jockey when you fall you break things, man. You know it's hard. And yeah, I went with Venice. But Venice was not type that talked a lot, but he was very sincere guy. And you know, as you know, Sean, Venice lived with us for 2 years. And whenever I went to Trinidad, I would stay by his house. You know, but it was really good. I think that people like Venice and Walton and those guys did a lot, you know. But, as I said, my favorite jockeys were Charlie Jones and Venice. And then, you know, then the younger brigade came. Even another great jockey was Godfrey, you know. I remember right off around the corner. He then about 2 weeks after he said to me, "Daddy, you think you the minister's court, right?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You think you could push back the starting gate at the 7.5 for a little bit?" I said, "I don't think there's much room there." And I said, "But I look at it," and I went to Keith Simmons, who's the minister responsible, because they started to stop it. They stopped playing tennis there. And Keith Simmons went with me and we looked at it, and we pushed we could now get a 7.8, now 7.8, isn't it, Sean? Yeah. 7.8, and that is how that went back, because Sean asked me, he said, "Daddy, if it goes back 10 yards, you're saving a life, because going down to the fellas go around that corner, it's, you know, it's tough." Because they tell me that when what's the name of the great jockey? Holder. His son is was a jockey, good friend Sean. Yeah. And when Holder stopped riding, they invited him and put him in the space where the Governor General was coming on. You probably all even know the one in the middle there.
Yeah.
And apparently the first race he saw was a 7.5. And when the fellas came up, I went around the thing. He said, "Well, these fellas mad or what? That's how they just go around there." He'd been doing it for 40 years. Because he would not have seen a lot of races himself, because he would ride all. I mean, he's champion jockey. Yeah. You know, so that was fascinating. But
I see a comment there by Godfrey Griffith.
Godfrey had made a comment to say that had something to do with Mama food and showing off for my people from Britain's Hill. I think this is when Godfrey was talking about going around the paddock bank.
You wouldn't believe that.
But he said Sir Wes was a rider too, a great man. I'm proud to call him a friend. God bless you, Godfrey Griffith.
Well, there were jockeys, but they were big eaters as far as my mother thought. But even Brett, I don't know if Brett remembered when he fell.
You came to see me in the hospital?
In the hospital.
Yes.
But I don't know if you remember this. When I came and I came over the thing, he jumped out of the cradle, and then he do some hold up, and he sort of had me in a bear hug. I could not believe it. And, you know, and I prayed for him and things like that.
Thank you for that.
It was a, you know, it looked like a very bad fall, but you know how it is with jockeys. They do recover.
My mom always told me that you came to visit me in the hospital a few days later, and I held on your hand and said, "Oh, RH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir Wes came and visit me.
Yeah. You said the same thing when I came to. You was doing a lot of cussing in the hospital.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, that's a fact.
Well,
But Sir Wes, all of the great work you've done over the years, especially from all of us jockeys at the Garrison Savannah, we really appreciate the example you set from your days in cricket, and especially in your days in raising a son like Sean.
well, you know, as far as I was concerned, all the little fellas at the garrison were my sons because I was quite prepared, you know, to help in any way. And that's the part. Sometimes I didn't know what way to go. But you know, because Sean was and Ricky were nearly of the same age and things like that, we were able, you know, from the time, and they were riding from the time they were 12. I mean, I have some pictures here with Sean and Ricky riding in the outback in St. Thomas and you know, and those cart roads and things like that. As a matter of fact, where we live now was a cart road going down to Jackson. And, you know, that's where Sean and Ricky rode their horses. I think it's a good thing because when you consider that you are riding horses that could pull away, you're only 12, 13, and 14, and, you know, and you're in cart roads, I mean, if you get a fall, you know, you're going to be cut up a bit. Those rocks around there. But it was a good thing. And, you know, and that is why I feel that, you know, if you can get a riding school and if you can, you know, send your boys over to, and girls over to the States and Canada, as you know, all of you have done it. But such a great work has been done by people like Ricky and all you guys who've been up there from the 80s, you know. And such a great work has been done that the youngsters that are going now, it's just like cricket, you know, when you're a great cricketer and all that sort of thing, but you know, you're getting £5 a week, you know what I mean? And but you're still playing. And now, I mean, you look and see, you know, a fellow can get, you know, $1 million in 5 weeks and things like that, you know, and that's US. So the same thing will happen with the young jockeys. They will, you know, instead of having to, you know, wait on, you know, 30, 20, 25 to 30 races a year, not races, race days, they will be able to improve by, you know, being disciplined, by going to work every morning, and by, you know, getting on a horse often. And, you know, and when you do that and you win some races, to be as humble as possible and be as mannerly as possible and make real money. Now, that is what I think, you know, I love racing, I love cricket, and the two of them are parallel, you know. Or some fellows started playing cricket and doing very well. Some fellows started riding and has done very well. So I think that what has happened in the last 5 or 6 years in North America should tell us that, you know, that the work that has been done by all of you, you know, it's been fantastic. You know, it's not easy to leave Barbados and go to Canada. You know, when you go there, you don't live in a hotel. You know, sometimes you know, it's a little bit tough, you know, until you catch yourself. And that happened to in cricket. I mean, you go to England and, you know, you're a pretty good cricketer and you go into the leagues, you know, and you're not going to be in a hotel. You're living in billets in a house, you know. I'm paying £5 a week for that. And then, you know, that includes meals, but, you know, it's a little difficult to go in the north of London and tell somebody to cook rice and peas. You know, it might look like soup to you. So you really understand the difficulties people will encounter. But the thing is, when you've caught your feet, you know, and you start to ride winners and you start to make runs and things like that, you find that you are way above the people of, you know, 15, 20, 40 years ago. This time is a time for our young fellas to get there and, you know, look after themselves. Because look, I remember I took Sean to, it was in Perth, and I booked it for 4 rides, and the fella said, okay, I will take you and Sean, they send us by aircraft. But when we got this aircraft, this man got up to the area, and then I looked around, you know, and I said, well, suppose this fella have a heart attack. You know what happened? So I asked him, I said, listen, if you start to feel bad, what happens to Sean and I? He said, well, if I start to feel bad, 2 people will be feeling bad. 2 people will be feeling bad. And we did not fly back on that thing. We went by car. It took about 8 hours. But the point I'm making is that the young fellas, as they, you know, they might be rookies for a year or 2, but once you start to, you know, do well and write, and like Brett and you guys who will probably take a year or 2 in those days to get on, you'll probably find that with having people to look after them, you know, we have a man in you know, who will be looking after a lot of those youngsters, telling them what to do, how to, you know, behave themselves, you know, and make sure that they're not only good jockeys, and it is not only a jockey, and people could be good grooms, you could be all sorts of things that you could do, you know. And
we want to teach the kids to be respectful,
yeah,
and honorable, and do a good job.
But I went to England. When I was 17 years old, you know, and you're in a different atmosphere, you know. You're not in Britain Hill anymore. You're not in the Ivy anymore, and you're not in Top Rock. In London or in North England, and you know, it's different lifestyle. And what do? You learn to, you know, how to live with people and things like that. And then you see that guy come back in 3 years to Barbados. He's a different man, you know. So that is what you need to do. Not just only writing and pretty writing. We have all of you have been good writers, and you know, if you write in Barbados, you can write anywhere. There's no doubt about it.
I agree.
You know, and
correct.
What you need to do when you start doing well, you know, don't get big-headed and things like that. Don't curse people if they tell you, man, you write a bad race. You know, what you need to do is to be humble, you know, and be good.
Very good advice.
Once you start winning races, people will ride you. That's the point. You know, if you are just cursing people and things like that, well, you're not going to go too far. And that happens in cricket. So it will happen in racing. You know?
Well, Sir Wes, our friend Ricky Griffith made a comment. He's listening to you right now from over the pond in Canada. Ricky Griffith says to thank you very much for looking after him all of those years.
Oh boy.
But it was reversing that was the problem with the car. He said he knocked down the whole wall. Is Ricky Griffith saying these words? And right after Ricky Griffith saying that he knocked down the whole wall, Godfrey Griffith said that she was better at anything. We had so much fun with the kids. Thank for the good old days.
Yes.
And Ricky went on to say he suggested to Sean to leave town because he said I was on his own.
Well,
And you know what Godfrey said? Godfrey said one of them was kissing a girl now when the car crashed.
we love Ricky and Chris. You know,
So they're listening to you now,
Chris was a
sir.
little younger, huh?
They're
Chris
listening
was
to you right
was
now.
small, and you know it's a bad thing when you're about 5 years, you know, below the fellas, because when the fellas are 13, you know, you're still 8 or 9, and they're not going to take you to the little fets and things like that. So I think
I don't mind. It's a good thing I was 5 years younger. If not, I might have been in the car with them. I might have get.
Well, that is true too. Perhaps you would have told me the truth. And
Yeah,
then
you
we'll
know,
what happened in
you know, I
camp.
would tell you the truth. You know, I would tell you the
Yeah.
truth.
Well, one of our friends made a comment that Sean escaped death twice in one day, with Ricky reversing, and Wes could have killed him.
But you know what? The funny thing is that what Ricky said just now, I forgot that we were plotting a plan to run away from home.
I saw the silence. I mean, they're not kids that are silent, you know, they're always asking some
You
question or
suspected something.
Yeah.
But wait, let me ask you this: what other man nowadays would hear that their car got hit by their kids and go and nap before he checked out the car?
Very true, Tyler.
That's what I got. I was shocked that he went and took a nap.
He trusted them that much. You see, that's what happened, Tyler.
But the tournament was just a little hit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's what Ricky said.
Griffey was still going check. Sir Wes,
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep.
Wes said he'll check it later on.
No, but the thing about it was, right back in those days, like me and Ricky was like my big brother to me, because I was living with my dad and I was just me and my father at the time. So Ricky used to be with us all the time. And we used to go to a midnight Kung Fu movie, because we used to like Kung Fu real bad back in them days. And we would go there at 12 o'clock at the plaza. And then we make arrangements to call my father when it's done. And when 12 o'clock come, and we call my father, the phone like off the hook. It's just giving a busy single all the time. So we used to wait for my father for till 2 o'clock. You know what I mean? 3 o'clock. And we realized that but this man ain't coming back. I remember one night me and Ricky walked home from town. And I think we weren't riding yet, so we had at least about 14 or 15. Yeah, we were just on the verge of riding together. But I remember walking up River Road, then right over the hill. And when we got home, my father fell asleep with the phone, obviously talking to somebody, and fall asleep. But those were the good old days, man, when we used to walk everywhere. And sometimes we had a whole gang. So we had a guy like Michael Burnett, Mervyn Seeley, you know what I mean? And all that little group of junkies from Trinidad, Chris Jowey, Gary Rampersad, Wendell Barak. Don't forget School Turkey. Always with Turkey, the place is brought seat anywhere you go.
My mother loved turkey.
Yes.
My mother, of all the boys, I don't know how, but my mother loved turkey. You know, I used to stutter a bit, and she didn't mind at all. She
used to?
Well, you know, yeah. But my mother loved turkey, and turkey was a good boy.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because about 2 days ago, Turkey was telling me about Sean's grandmother.
Yeah.
Talking to me about that.
Yeah. Well, the grandmother was very strict, but my mom would be, you know, a little easier than my grandmother. My grandmother's pretty strict, but they love she too. I don't know why, they just love turkey, you know.
Turkey. She used to go there and eat lunch
Every day.
daily.
Yeah.
I used to go there and find turkey there sitting down eating. And Turkey tell me one day, he said, I mean, your grandmother, It's my grandmother know too. He's like, I can't eat at my grandmother, but I can eat at your grandmother. So, and they had a really good relationship. I mean, when Turkey got married, he brought his wife and his kids to see her long before she died and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, you know, that generation of us, we were tight, man. Tight,
That
tight.
was the beautiful thing back in those days. I mean, Wes became like a father figure to so much of the boys too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How much of the boys you can say Wes became a father figure to?
Yeah.
You know?
And I was lucky that, you know, I was working at Banks Breweries, and we were living in you know, quite a big house and 4 or 5 bedrooms, and you know, there was a lot of room. They were not really in anybody's way. You know, they would come and, you know, they would watch racing and things like that, and come anytime. It was open door.
Yeah, because the house that we had a bedroom downstairs that was the fella's room.
Yeah.
So anybody with, if I was at home or anybody home, you no, any of the gang was, you come home, find guys there sleeping and that kind of stuff.
And the thing about it is that they were very mannerly boys. I mean, I can't think of anybody who was, you know, out of order or anything like that. And it was good. You know, if they come, you know, there'll be something to eat or something to drink, or we'll go get some food for sure. We'll go buy some food and things like that. And it means that they didn't have to rush home, and they will watch the races, you know. And I think it was a good thing. You know, when you get boys like that, and you get them into 14, 15, 16, 17, and they can be, you know, mannerly, and they were the reason why they were at my house is the fact that they were very decent guys, you know, because you're not going to tolerate people who will be coming to your place and you know, and be like that, you know.
But
So
Sir Wes,
yeah.
Godfrey Griffith is saying that this is the first time he heard the rail car story.
They begged me don't tell me there.
Ricky,
They don't, I
Godfrey's
won't know
son,
anything about
said
it,
we
but
had to walk home.
they told me don't tell Godfrey.
Oh, so the truth come out now.
A lot of the truth coming out now.
No, Ricky talking about when we had to walk home from the cinema.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, man, we used to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is midnight show. We go to, you know, we used to go to the midnight show at the plaza. So that then was probably by 1:30, and then when you see my
What is about this, John?
When he was walking,
Godfrey Griffith said Sir Wes was a jockey in Trinidad.
Talk
Tell me about that
Daddy.
story, sir.
When you were the lady who cricket the jockey team, when you said you were the jockey in India ring elephants.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I think that wherever we went, we were more or less friends with the people there. Like Joe Hattie, for instance, became a very, very great trainer. And when I first went to Trinidad, he was just someone who loved racing. But he turned out to be one of the best ever trainers in Trinidad. And both Charlie and Venice rode for him for years, you know. And I find that, you know, when we first went down there, Sean knew a lot of the boys in the training school, especially Ramsamy and the guy that fell and hurt his back, Sean. But, you know,
Juan Charles and that's all guys with
Juan Charles and all these guys, you know. And it was a good thing to see these boys grow from, you know, 15, 16, 20 to 22 and doing well. So I had a lot of pleasure in seeing them, you know, growing to a manhood and doing well. And, you know, you always feel that you've achieved something, you know. And I always say that we don't have any school in Barbados, but I must admit that they had the boys if even when they start, they're not really, good, you find that they learn very quickly. And, it isn't a bicycle, it's a horse, that has a way, you're all jockeys, and you know that when a horse gets mad, I mean, anything can happen, and I seen Sean had some very bad, one time I went to Toronto, and he was there lying down, and a horse had turned around and could go the wrong way, and bam, and go 10 feet in the air or something like that. These things could happen, and you have to have the tenacity to sort of, recover and do it again. Because as a jockey, you cannot feel that because you had one fall, you will stop. If you want to do that, will stop. But I mean, if you're that scared, all the great jockeys I know, from the time they fall, they tend to try to get better. I look at our friend Sean and the last one that had the fall. I came here.
Rocco.
There was this guy, and we found out that he had 2 collarbones broken. But he was there, and you could see that all he wants to do is to get better and get back on those horses, and that's the attitude you must have,
Correct.
And most times you fall, it is not your fault. That's the point. You can get a real bad injury and it isn't your fault, but you have to sort of understand the vagaries of what is going on, and it happens. I mean, cricket is the same thing, but at the age of 29, 30, I was the leading wicket taker ever in cricket, and I ran up to bowl a ball, and in New Zealand, and the wickets were soft, and when everybody pumped in the same spot, and my foot went in that, and bam, and I fell, and Charlie Griff said, "Wes, get up." I said, "Boy, I can't move." The skipper came, "Wes, get up." I said, "Skipper, I can't move. Get the people to come for me." They came with a stretcher, and I never bowled another ball. You're only 29, and back problems, and you find that, as I said yesterday to a crowd, that, and it is true with cricket and racing, and that, in my view, the human body was not designed for express fast bowling, and because you have to be so fit, you run 12 miles a day. I mean, that's tough. You know what I mean? And you're going to, if you do that, you're going to develop muscles in the right places. And, when your career is over, that muscle will go, and it's just like jockeys. I mean, a jockey will be, 110, 120 and things like that. But after riding, he's 40 and 50, he could go up to 160, 170, because everybody...
Or 80.
Or 80. It's a fact. You're right, but the point is that you have to be disciplined, and if you are disciplined, you will make it, But, and another thing, in Barbados, it's all right to say that they're not disciplined, but the point is, it's not that at all. You'll find that to lose weight, you don't have any apparatus in the jogging room in Barbados. You got to go down Bathsheba with layers of plastic, and then when you squeeze it like that. I see these young fellas doing that, and they say, "Oh boy, I lost 5 pounds," or something like that. But if you go to a place like Canada or the States, you know, you don't have that problem. You know, you can go and look after your weight, you know, and things.
But
Another thing,
sometimes these difficulties make us that much better than everyone else. Don't you
exactly.
think?
Yeah, but you starve yourself for a whole week, and then the Saturday night, I used to see Shaw do that. I can't eat during the week at all. Can't eat during the week. And then Friday night, after the races, you go and put on 10 pounds. You know what I mean? And then start sweating again from Monday. That sort of thing. You know, but if you're racing every day, you know, you might not ride every day, but at least in races, but you ride and work and things like that, and suddenly your body, you know, get accustomed to that. And you can look at your weight and deal with it. You know, but if you're in Barbados and you know the best thing to do is eat some cocoa and flying fish, you know.
I think we're saying a perfect example would be Jet Li and Kevar Nichols, because there were two guys who were excellent riders. I look at them now; they ride very often and they're light.
Exactly. You see, the point is when you ride in our friend, when you ride in a good stable, you're riding the best horses in the country. You know, but you're riding them at exercise. What happens is when you sit on the best horses, you know, and you experience, you know, horses that could you know, while they're fight along from home, they're so easy, you know, they're so easy in their stride, that you yourself as a rider will learn that. You see, you don't have to be jumping all over a horse every mile. As you know, you want to get him on the bit, and when you're ready to move, you move. But some boys, they sit on such good horses that they learn. You know, that's why when they go on to ride, it might be 10 years after they've been doing another job, but you'll find that they know good horses. And when if you are on a horse and your horse is going better than the others, you were good. When I was in politics, I remember I was going so hard, you know, every night. You know, you're walking and you're speaking on platforms and all that. And then Sean came in and said to me, "Daddy, are you leading this man?" I say, "Yes, I think so. I'm leading him." He said, "Well, if you're leading him, don't kill yourself. It's just like a horse. I mean, if I ride on a horse and the fella I am on the inside and he's on the outside, he has to go around me. You understand? And it doesn't mean that I go 5 lengths in front of him, or a piece of paper might fly across and wake up everybody." So, you know, and I said, but I can believe that this boy who is 15 or 16 years could have that sort of, ability to tell me, who is about 30 years over anything, and I didn't particularly know that. And I did exactly what he said. You know, I went down to work and things like that, but I didn't kill myself anymore because I knew I was in front and I needed to just make sure that I don't fall off. And that's his end. And he was only a little boy riding about 16, 17 or so. And he's saying, if I'm there and I go in bed with this fella, well, you know, he got a lot of problems. So that, as I see it, you guys have done so much, and I think that you mustn't feel that your work has gone for nothing. You can look back and see, or look forward now, and see, like that little boy, that what's his name, John? Patrick. Patrick called me one day, Sean. I said, "Guys, I want to show you something." And I said, "Okay." And I went in this house. This little fella called him. He said, get up there, and he went on the veranda rail, and he had the whip in his hand. And he said, go on now. And his boy started going and going and turning. And I could not believe it. I see the boy do so and turn the stick in his hand and twist him. I could not believe that. I said, how old is he? He said he's only 8. I think he's the same fellow that.
Yeah, it's Micah. Huh? It's Micah David.
Yes, I think you know. So when a boy has that ability, you know, and he progressed on a decent rate, this is money now that is important. What he does, you see. But you know, when Patrick showed me this guy, I was, you know, I couldn't believe it.
And Leroy
is now in charge of him.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sure that Leroy, from what I see of Leroy, will not only be trying to get rice for him, I think that he'll be ready to speak to him and make sure he's all right. Because a little success can do a lot to the mind if you don't have anybody to look after you. And I really mean that. I am very, as I see Sean friends come, like I did not know our friend, and you know, I was so pleased to meet that guy, you know, and to see his demeanor, how he.
Talk about Rocco.
Rocco, yes. I don't know a lot of the others, but they're doing well too. But if I see one and I know that he is that type of example, well, I believe that, you know, not everybody is, but you'll probably find that fellas would understand up here is not home, boy. You know what I mean? You can, if you live 30 miles from the track, you can't run up there. You know, you have to have a car. So that is it. And if you when you first go, you're not going to have a car. You gotta somebody's going to put you up. You know what I mean? Or and when you get out of that, everybody has done it. So when you get out of that, you'll find that, you know, you'll be a better person. And that's the reason why when I see Sean with these young fellas going up to, they are very lucky to have you, all of you, who, you know, you've seen it hard. There's no doubt about it. But it didn't kill you. You know, when I went to England, you know, it was funny. When I went to Blackpool, and the fellas went into the fish and strip shop. My grandmother was a serious woman. I could not be on the road and eat. There's no way me and my brother could eat on the road. And the fellas went to buy the fish shit and gave me one, and I see them eating the fish in the road. And I can do that. And I was a big man because I wasn't aware that, you know, that's what people do. My grandmother would never allow me to eat in the road. She said, you get home. And, you know, that might be taking it a bit far, but that is how she was. You know, and the thing is that I found it very hard as a big man, and everybody eating, and I find it hard to do that. So that the opposite is also true. You know, that if it is bad instead of good, that will also put you in trouble.
Yeah.
So I think that what you all need to do is to keep on talking to these fellas. Some of them are not going to listen to you until they get in trouble, you know. But I think that from what I see with Barbadians, I see sometimes Barbadians win 5 races. Give me a break. You know what I mean? That is fantastic. You know, so I'm not only saying so because I'm Sean's father, but I'm saying so because I like the idea of the youngsters migrating and, you know, beating the odds as I had to do in England. You know, you're living in digs, you know, and you're going to shower and you don't want the water to splash over there to the Lady gonna tell the fellas that black fella that they don't know how to even bed. Although we are the one bedding every day, but twice a day. That's
Well,
as
Sir
West
Wes.
Indians or man, we bedding twice a day. You know
Correct.
that too. You know,
Well, Sir
and-
Wes, do you
yeah.
remember a jockey named Timothy Murray?
Yeah, I know of him. Yeah.
He says, "Good night, Sir Wes. He would love to hear a bit about Michael Holden's involvement in horse racing.
Oh,
Can you tell us more about Michael
Yes.
Holden's involvement?"
Michael. Yeah, Sean knows about that too. I mean, Michael loves horses, and he has a house in Newmarket. He's a very good friend of a Barbadian trainer, Sir
Michael Stout.
Michael.
Stout.
Huh?
So Michael
So
Stout.
Michael Stout. So Michael actually is in he is in he lives. It's a real compound with horses, and that's where he has a house there, and he loves horses, and you'll probably find that when you have a trainer and he's your best friend, he doesn't really want you to indulge in betting a lot because he fears that you might lose. But Michael is a steady boy. He knows what's going on, and he's done very well. Very well.
Very good, friend.
Yeah.
Great. And Godfrey Griffith is making a comment again that he rode many more times weak than he rode strong. 10 pounds in a race morning was the way he would start his day. Losing the weight the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
I think Raquel said she had something to say. Raquel?
Well, I just wanted to comment about when you were talking about the jockey Sean and Ricky training in the kart roads. And while you were talking about that, I was remembering Eddie Bell telling me stories of, him wanting to be a jockey, and he would be in the kart roads. And even when he was up at Bally Hill training the horses, that's the kind of routine that he did. And for me, when you have a foundation where you start rough, instead of, you in a kart road, cane fields, anything can happen. A mongoose could come out, a monkey, anything like that. And you're still able to maintain your composure. Yes, you have falls. Yes, but it makes you tougher. It makes you stronger. And as you guys rightly said, he can ride anywhere. And I think that we Bajans have the best jockeys in the world, and that's just my opinion, because we have heart, and we aren't afraid of a horse bucking or behaving badly or anything like that. We don't jump off. No cracks. Get straighten up and we gone. That's how I see it.
But what I must say is that the kart road mentality of riding is still alive and well here in Barbados. From what I've been seeing, a few fellas posting videos.
Yeah, on Instagram, correct.
Once you master being a kart road jockey, everything you're ready. Yeah, because what happens is, right, when you're in the kart road, as you said just now, you see a mongoose, you see rabbits, you see a passerby just blow, you know what I mean? So much crazy things is happening out there, and the thing is, it's not the fault, because sometimes you're like 2 miles away from home. And you don't want to walk 2 miles.
But if you fall, the horse can find its way home. You gotta walk.
That's exactly what happened.
If you can walk.
Chris, you had some of those days, Chris?
Huh? Yeah.
You had some of those days?
Oh yeah, me and Slade.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and kart road days. Once you can ride in a kart road, you can ride anywhere in the world.
Anywhere. Anywhere.
That's why even like for example, like Sean, you was talking about Slade Jones the other day. Like,
yes.
I remember when I first see him ride, and I called John on Messenger. And I said, John, I watched your son ride. I said, he looked like, like he actually going to be a very serious rider. I said, don't keep him in Barbados too long. Not knowing how young he was. I didn't know he was 15 at the time. That was last year. And John said, that was the only reason he didn't let him come yet. So when I see him come here, what he's doing now, it don't surprise me one bit. It's no surprise to me. at all that he's doing as well as he's doing, because once you get the foundation of riding in Barbados, and once you can handle the garrison, when you get here, these tracks here are so easy to ride compared to riding in Barbados. And all you need once you get here is the opportunity. That's it.
For me, watching him, how he transition to, in such a short space of time, what he's picked up and what he does. Because I mean, I watch him, you know, for half a mile on a horse, where he slows the pace down. It's unbelievable how easy he gets it done and get a horse to relax underneath him.
Yeah, once you come, the riding part is the easy part. The technical aspects of racing, he still have to learn.
Yes.
The physical ability, once you can ride the garrison, you're not no problem riding none of these tracks.
But you know why, Chris, Leroy, Sean said it as well. You know, Slade Jones used to be a ninja warrior.
Yeah.
Doing those ninja wars with big men and stuff. So he was talented athletically, not only riding.
I think he's a super athlete.
Yeah.
A freak. I think he's a freak type of person.
Let me just say this: that when a boy raising up in a house with a grandfather that was, you know, a
legend,
and his father that was a legend too. You see, because Charlie was not only a great jockey, Charlie really loved riding. You know, those who had to ride against him know that. You see, and John would have stopped riding long before his father did. So when the youngster came along, he had a grandfather and a father that, you know, he will say, if I do the right thing, I can do better than him. As a matter of fact, he has actually done better than his father in terms of winning races. Because I heard it in Jono's when you all were interviewing him, Dono said that the youngster said that he won a race before Dono. And that's what boys do. Yes, you know, my father and my grandfather, the genes are here. Oh man, if I get the chance. And another thing too, you know, when and the other little boy too that you have, you know, you'll be surprised. I mean, what he has done already, next year, you will be surprised to see. I mean, you are not going to surprise because you fellas know, but people will then hear about him next year in a very serious way, you know. And that's what happens when you have kids that have a lot of promise, but the background is there. They know my grandfather was great, my father was great, and you see me, I will do the same thing.
But you know,
what I actually know, Daddy. Well, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
You know, Sarah Jones, Slade Jones' mom. You know, she was a hell of a rider too. You know, a lot of people know that, but that girl can ride horses.
Yeah, she's She's a really good jumper.
When she was younger, she was fearless, right?
Yeah.
Right, you know, from up Big C.
From up Big C, yeah.
Very, very good rider.
But her mom had her learn from baby as well.
Yeah, she was riding from the time she could walk too. So he getting it from Charlie and from his mom.
Yeah.
If he decided to play tennis, something would have been wrong.
Correct.
But I asked my father this, you know, because we're talking about pedigree and the family thing. So what happened to me?
Well,
How I get riding horses? And you the big golden star, 6'2", weigh 207 pounds.
Yeah, but you have to remember, Sean, when you were a boy, you were on a riding in the house. You will get on that cycle thing before you go walk all around the place. You know, I said this boy he can ride here, and the thing is that it is what is being thrown to you. There are hundreds of West Indian players, and it is ridiculous, really, that there are not many West Indian cricketers whose sons follow them. You find the great Headley, his son played maybe 2 games for the West Indies, and then his son played for England. But call another one. Not one. You can't call another one. Everton Week's son, Andy, was as good as anybody that I've seen when he was 12, 13, 14, 15. But somehow, in cricket, they seem to think, well, you know, boy, give me a hard time because my father was a great, and be telling me, and you know, they always putting me up with my father and things like that. And the youngsters have not played. And isn't it funny that only in the Headley family that you see West Indian cricketers, you know, doing it? They don't follow their fathers.
I don't get David Murray.
Well, yes, David Murray, definitely. But you know,
That's still only one.
but yeah, that is true. But you know, I think that when you know are a young person, and you see, David did not live in Everton's house and things like that, and you know, and that might make him more determined to do well. But you live in your father's house, and you know, and you like something else, you would probably say, you know what, look, if I get a play, they can say because I'm his son. You know, that would happen. And,
What I could say is, though, Daddy, is that look at Ricky and Chris. You know what I mean? So I think the jockey people seem to do it better than the cricket people.
it doesn't happen in racing. It doesn't happen in racing because if you look and see throughout history, young jockeys have followed their fathers in the saddle. That's what I'm saying. We don't have any history as a nation where our youngsters follow us. But it is not true with the other sports. So but Sean, you know that when you went to races at Combermere, you were never going to the headmaster rang me and complained. I said Sean Hall won 2 races on Saturday, and he stoops in and saying that boy he don't come to the thing.
I was late every day for prayers, Daddy. That's
Right.
the reason why. I never made it in time.
Well, that's it, you see. But no, you look at some other games, the kids come along in an atmosphere where they're expected to go with their family. Look at motor racing, you know. Look at athletics. Those are the only 2 things. Look at in America when they're playing
Basketball.
and things like that. You know what I mean? But in cricket, it hasn't happened. And we've been playing cricket now for 200 years. So if it didn't happen in 200 years, I don't think it happened at all.
But Daddy, I would have to say then it's a West Indian problem more so because they got a lot of English, Australian got youngsters who go on and play for their country.
Well, yeah, but you know, you see what has happened to when I was a young boy, you have to get a scholarship to go to Harrison College, Combermere, or Lodge, or anything like that. You have to get a scholarship. Why? Because your mother can't pay $8 to send you to Combermere and things like that. So you gotta get a scholarship. So if you don't get a scholarship, well, it isn't. You know, you're not going to make it. Today, every boy and girl in Barbados will sit 11 plus and get into school. So that is what happens. You know, everybody that wants to study can go to university. You know, in my time, to go to university, you gotta go to Jamaica, you know, or go to London or something like that. So that things have changed, and you know, our children, you know, in cricket, they don't really aspire to follow their father, you know. But in other games, you'll probably find that it happens. You know, first of all, in riding, I mean, if your father is a jockey and your weight is okay, you will try to ride. If you are a big fella, bigger than your father or anything like that, well then you will know that you can't ride. You know, or that you will know that by the time you get 25, you will you won't be racing anymore. You know, and you know your weight has not gone up to 170 or anything like that. That's the whole problem. So I think that um, we need in a game like racing, um, if the fathers are jockeys, you could bet your life that that kid might come along and like riding. That's it, because riding is a something that people love to do. The Queen, God rest her soul, you know, whenever she can get away from the rigors of you know, in Buckingham Palace, she'll go up to in the country and ride horses, you know, go to Ascot and things like that.
Since you mentioned the Queen, how much time do you've met this lady?
I met the well, I met the Queen in three times as a player, and once as a manager, and then I met her 3 times as a minister of government. So I met her 7 times.
So that means you always pals.
You know, what I used to wonder why would they meet you 3 and 4 years apart, perhaps 5, and they could, you know, they just don't say hello, good morning, and go on. You'll see someone always following, especially Prince Philip, following, and he, for instance, in 2000 and in 1993, when he said, how are you going, Wes? I said, oh, I tell you, this cricket boy was giving me a lot of problems. I think this is my last tour. Last tour? Now in 1966, it's only 3 years after, I nearly got dead. When the man told me, okay, you told me 3 years ago there's the last tour. Now you're in, you know, you're in your pride now. You know, your pride. And I did not know, it puzzled me how he would be able, as you were saying, Sean, how he do it. You know how? The man that walks alongside him, he got a recorder here, and what he asks you, and you answer, he can meet you 3 years from now. Look at that, and it helps. You know, if not, it would be tedious to meet people, shake your hand, and say good morning. You need to be able to say something to them that, you know, make them feel very comfortable. Because if you had to meet the Queen or the Prince or the King, you know, don't care who you are, you'll probably be a little bit, you know, I think that you would probably be a little nervous.
But I don't think you're nervous, because in speaking to Eddie Grant, he told me that you're one of his heroes, and the reason why you're one of his heroes is that when royalty met you, they used to bow to you. Is that true?
And who?
Royalty. They were frightened for you.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't be looking for that, so I wouldn't see it. You know, I don't know what they do. You know, if you're a minister in government, you could say, well, I would really love to thank you and your countrymen for being very good to Barbados by coming to us. And you know, it means now that England now have more people coming to Barbados than America, and this has only happened in a year. So I'm very happy, Your Majesty. You know what I mean?
Oh, so that's what you so that's what you suggested?
Yes, no?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. You when you get
okay, but that all right, but that is when you were playing out. So when you were a minister in government, but when you were was in the battlefield looking to kill men, what you used to tell them then?
I don't kill anybody. Let me tell you, I have never in my life had an altercation with an opposing player. I have never in my life bowled a bouncer at a tail ender. It meant that I probably, miss having another 40 out. But, I've never done that because I have seen a lot of great players get hurt when I hit them with a ball.
But
And I feel that a man who cannot bat, if I
but
hit him with a
I've
ball
seen
and he dies, what will happen?
I've seen videos though you plotting with Charlie Griffith to let down tail enders though.
No, I'm not doing that.
I don't know. I saw it myself. Then
Okay,
the
so
man said
let me interrupt. Let me
the guy
interrupt.
said when Charlie Griffith bowled the bouncer, he said, "Oh dear, he's down there discussing it with West Hall."
Well, that Englishman is 100 yards away, and he doesn't know what's happening. What happens is if Charlie is bowling, and I don't bowl. I'm never near the bat. I'm a boundary fielder. Okay, I'm on the boundary, and if, for instance, Charlie used to bowl in swingers. I don't know if everybody understands that the ball comes in from outside the off stamp. Everybody's playing cricket as West Indians, so the ball comes in from outside the off stamp to you. I used to go the other way, so I would not be telling him anything about tail enders. But if it was a great player, I'd be telling him, well, look, you have to go middle to off. It's coming into you. Whereas I will be going from leg to the other way. And you'll be surprised to know how when you're playing, you will get so many people telling you, what to do. And take, for instance, riding. If you're riding a race, I assume, I never ride in a race, but I assume that you as a jockey will know, you will look to see who are your, who are the dangerous people in the race. And you'll be targeting them. When Hamilton go to do riding, he'll be looking for the people that he knows, are likely to beat him. If you're a 100-yard sprinter or even a long distance runner, you'll be looking at A, B, and C that you think. So what I'm saying is, as a jockey, you know very well that if you were riding in a race with Charlie Jones, don't care why he's riding, you'll be looking to see where he is. You understand? And not only him, but the switchers or any of you young fellas who have taken up the mantle. So, Sean, it's just a matter of, for games. I am for games. And that is the reason why I like racing, and I like athletics. I like Formula One racing, and they're all speed, and that is it.
Okay, well, let's one thing. You know that video we watched with the guy talking about the guys are graveling. Remember that video? That cricketer, that Englishman,
the captain, he said that he would make West Indies gravel.
So what you gotta say about that one then?
Well, I would say just what happened. that having said that, England lost. I lost both ways. They got a lot of blows and they get beat.
Okay. All right, guys. Listen.
All right.
It's 11 o'clock here now, so it's time to wrap this up.
I must admit that I was a little bit nervous. I've spoken in many fora, and I've preached many a sermon, but I was a little nervous tonight because I didn't know what would happen. See. So, if you could do today the first half an hour.
You've done well, sir.
Thank you for giving us your time, Sir Wes.
That's all right. That's fine. Thank you very much.
Raquel, you had a few comments quickly.
Yes, I just want to give, to let everyone know that we had some trainers, owners, and jockeys that did really well this season. We had Eddie Bell with Shake Them Up Noble and Rite of Passage with his 2 wins apiece. We've had Khadijah, who's done very well. Rashad Knights, Kenny John, all of those. And I mean, there's so many of them that did really, really well this season. And we just want to wish you continued success. And we hope to see more from you in the next season, the future, whatever the case may be. And I can do a little bit of showing off. You hold on. I have to show off my mug, my hurricane mug.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. Chris Ashby from Racing Scene. Can you see it? Can you see
it?
Good. So if you guys need any memorabilia.
Do it again. Show it again. Show it again. No, you're big.
It's got my name on it.
Yes.
Hi.
And, you know.
Brilliant.
So, anybody needs anything, you can look for him.
All right. Thanks.
So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Raquel.
It was wonderful seeing you and hearing you.
Thank you, dear.
All you other wonderful, handsome men. I'm going to leave you now.
Thank you so much, Raquel, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
All right, Raquel.
Chris?
Yeah.
You're next up to the podium. You say your battery about to die.
Yeah, I counting down. I just want to say, Sir Wes, it was good seeing and hearing you again.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun listening to you.
Thank you.
I get tired of listening to Sean. I went to the real deal now.
Yeah.
Cut out
real hall. It's been the real hall.
Cut out the middle hall.
Don't talk so. Don't say that about him, man.
He can take it, man.
We got Joey punches that we can. Wes.
Yeah, I noticed that he's very vicious with you sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. We got chosen when we can, right?
You must heartily reciprocate.
But he's a big guy. He's gonna cut them big guys down to size.
I agree with you, Sean.
But you know, at the same time, Wes, I have to say you've raised yourself a wonderful young man there, and it's a pleasure being
here.
You know what I mean? A part of his crew. So
yeah, thank you.
You've done yourself a wonderful job. So a lot of tools to you too.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And it's been a pleasure seeing you. I haven't seen you in so many years, and to know that you're still fighting the battle with us up on top of the earth.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best for the rest of the the time that you're here.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you so much, Sir Wes. From the entire team at Journeys, we wish you all the best. God bless.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Guys, Chris, thanks for coming in, Chris, and helping us out. And we'll see you in the future.
All right.
Leroy, Sean, it's been great. We had a great show. We got one or two, man, we got to record those comments from Dan as well for our sponsors, huh? I mean, but those are words that he shared with us, but we're not tooting our home, but we're doing pretty good. And we want to invite other people to come and support our show.
Yes.
We want to do great things. We want to promote great products. We want to promote great places. Let's keep it going. We invite all of our listeners to like and share our YouTube channel, our Facebook posts. And we look forward to seeing everyone in the future.
Good luck to everybody.
Good luck to everybody.
There you go. That's a good one, Brett. Always. Okay.
All right, guys. Well, thanks to all of our listeners and our crew. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man.